Logan, a close friend of the family, suspected Malia. He believed she was pressured by her own mother, Lily and Jack's grandmother, pushed into choices that led to this moment, to this silence that will not end. Logan called it the silence that screams, because that's exactly what this feels like. 2 children are gone, without a sound, without a trace. A mother, Malia, fled with the youngest, cutting off all contact, leaving behind a silence louder than any answer we have received. Logan, a close friend of the family, suspected Malia. He believed she was pressured by her own mother, Lily and Jack's grandmother, pushed into choices that led to this moment, to this silence that will not end. This is not just a case. This is Lily, 6 years old, and Jack, 4 years old. 2 children who should be home, playing, laughing, living. Instead, they disappeared one morning while the world was still waking up. And that silence is not just the silence of the woods around their home. It is the silence of systems that failed to act. The silence of those who may know the truth but refuse to speak. The silence that leaves a family and a community waiting, hoping, fearing. When children vanish, time is not on their side. Every day without answers deepens the wound. Every day without clarity risks another family facing the same nightmare. That is why we need your help. If you believe Lily and Jack deserve justice, if you believe no child should disappear without answers, and to ensure other children's safety, please like this video. Every like helps this story reach more people who might hold a missing piece. Share this video with others who need to see it. You never know who might know something. And please subscribe. Your subscription is not just a number. It is a commitment to keep searching, to keep asking questions, and to keep Lily and Jack's names alive until we find the truth, and to help prevent this from happening to another family. Tell us in the comments where you are watching from and what you believe happened to Lily and Jack. Your perspective matters. Your voice matters. Together we can ensure silence does not have the final word. May 2nd, 2025. A quiet morning in rural Nova Scotia, near the small community of Upper Stewiacke. 2 children, Lily, age 6, and Jack, age 4, vanished without a trace from the trailer they called home. No signs of struggle, no broken windows, no footprints in the thick brush surrounding the property. Only silence, and the unsettling emptiness of small shoes left behind. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police arrived to confusion and dead ends. Tracking dogs followed a scent down the driveway, but it stopped at the roadside as if the children had simply been lifted from the earth. Surveillance footage from nearby roads and the Highland Square Mall was quietly collected but never released. An Amber Alert was never issued, and the questions began to grow. How do 2 small children disappear without a single piece of evidence? Why was no alarm raised when every moment mattered? Why did the mother, Malia, withdraw from everyone, taking her youngest child and cutting all contact, leaving only rumors and closed doors? This is not just about the mystery. It is about Lily and Jack, whose laughter was silenced, whose toys remained untouched, whose beds remained empty. Their absence is a wound on a family, on a community, and on all of us who know that children do not simply vanish. And until answers come, we will not stop asking, where are Lily and Jack? Who is Malia Brooks Murray? She is the mother of Lily and Jack, once described as gentle, reserved, and trying to rebuild her life. But behind closed doors, there were cracks. Stories of financial strain, struggles with mental health, a growing fear that child protection services might intervene, and tension, heavy tension, between Malia and those around her. Her mother, Cindy, Lily and Jack's grandmother, was a quiet but firm presence in Malia's life. According to those close to the family, Cindy held a strong influence over Malia, pushing her to make choices she might not have made alone, choices that would lead to silence. Daniel Martel, who stepped in as a father figure for Lily and Jack, described Malia as growing distant in the weeks before the children vanished. One day she would be calm, sharing plans for the children's future. The next, she would be withdrawn, lost in thought, unreachable, Cody Sullivan, the biological father of Lily and Jack, had his own struggles but remained connected to the children. He cooperated fully with authorities, showing up, answering questions, and searching. Belinda Gray, the children's paternal grandmother, never stopped believing the children were alive, but she could not ignore the darkness that seemed to be closing in around Malia in those final weeks. And then there were voices like Logan and Darwood O'Grady, friends of the family, who watched everything unfold up close. Logan spoke of a shift, a moment when Malia, once open and communicating, fell silent, severing ties with everyone, including Daniel and the children's other family members. He believed it was Cindy, the grandmother, who applied the pressure that pushed Malia into isolation. Darwood was even more direct, saying he believed Malia orchestrated the disappearance, that she placed Lily and Jack into a vehicle, and that someone else drove them away. He pointed to Cindy's influence, suggesting it wasn't just Malia's decision, but a plan shaped in whispers and fear. These were not strangers guessing from afar. These were people who held Lily and Jack, who saw the laughter in their eyes, who witnessed the unraveling of a mother who may have been battling storms no one fully saw. And in the center of it all are two small children, Lily and Jack, who did not choose any of this. Their laughter silenced, their beds empty, their toys untouched, and the questions growing heavier by the day. What truly happened inside that trailer in Upper Stewick? Why did a mother fall silent? And who knows where Lily and Jack are now? Straight to business, the investigation quickly tangled itself in silence. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police confirmed they were searching, but beyond a few sparse emails, the public heard almost nothing. Surveillance footage from Highland Square Mall was never released. Details of polygraph tests and interviews remained hidden. Rumors circulated, but official updates were rare, measured, and late. No Amber Alert was ever issued. Two children, 6 and 4, vanished, but the system designed to raise alarms stayed quiet. The family and community were left asking, why? Why did the protocols meant to protect Lily and Jack fail when it mattered most? Child Protection Services had already been involved with Malia and Meadow, citing concerns for Meadow's welfare. Yet despite this oversight, Malia was able to walk away with Meadow in June, vanishing completely, while the system that was supposed to watch over Meadow fell silent. The emotional toll on those left behind has been heavy. Daniel Martell, who once cared for Lily and Jack as a stepfather figure, now finds himself pacing empty hallways, waiting for answers that don't come. Cody Sullivan, the children's biological father, has stood in front of cameras pleading for information, while behind closed doors, grief weighs on every conversation. Neighbors leave porch lights on at night. Posters fade in the rain, reminders of the small faces that never came home. Families in Nova Scotia lock their doors tighter, holding their children closer, wondering how two young souls could slip away so easily, and how it could happen again. In the spaces where laughter once echoed, there is now an absence. A heavy growing silence that neither police reports nor quiet investigations have filled, because Lily and Jack are still missing. And for the family and the community, the waiting has become its own kind of heartbreak. As the silence from the RCMP deepened, the public's demand for transparency only grew louder. Families, neighbors, and strangers across Canada and beyond wanted to know, where are Lily and Jack? Why was there no Amber Alert? Why hasn't the surveillance footage been released? Why has there been no clear update from those entrusted to protect the children? When official channels stayed quiet, the community stepped in. Live streams began appearing on YouTube and Facebook, with independent researchers dissecting every available detail. Maps were drawn, timelines reconstructed, and witness statements discussed in real time. Some spent sleepless nights, scrolling forums, piecing together theories that law enforcement wouldn't confirm or deny. Social media became a lifeline for the search. Local groups shared missing posters daily. Hashtags trended as people across provinces reposted Lily and Jack's photos, refusing to let the case fade. Small creators, not large media outlets, kept the urgency alive, pushing for updates, transparency, and accountability. And in this tension, between official silence and community urgency, grew a new kind of pressure. A pressure on the RCMP to speak, on Child Protection Services to explain, on every system that had failed Lily and Jack to finally act. Because the public was done waiting quietly, they demanded that the silence break, that answers come, that Lily and Jack's story would not be buried under delayed press releases and half-statements. And for many in the community, this case has become more than the disappearance of two children. It has become a mirror, reflecting the gaps in systems meant to protect the vulnerable, and reminding everyone watching that the fight for justice often starts, not with official statements, but with ordinary people refusing to let the silence win. Many in the community have drawn comparisons between Lily and Jack's case and one of the world's most well-known missing children cases, Madeleine McCann. The similarities are impossible to ignore. A sudden disappearance, children vanishing from what should have been a place of safety, parents and close family members falling under suspicion, a swirl of rumors, judgments, and theories, and perhaps most painfully, the institutional delays that cost precious time. In Madeleine's case, early missteps by local police and delayed international involvement meant critical hours and days were lost. In Lily and Jack's case, there was no Amber Alert. Surveillance footage was not released. The RCMP's updates were infrequent and often vague. In both cases, the initial confusion and lack of transparency deepened public suspicion, feeding a climate of distrust. But there are differences too. Madeleine's disappearance eventually drew global media coverage, forcing international cooperation that brought in investigators from Portugal, the UK, and Germany. Even now, nearly 2 decades later, the case remains active on the global stage, with ongoing leads and identified suspects. Lily and Jack's case, by contrast, remains small in scale, largely confined to Nova Scotia, carried forward by local community voices, independent live streams, and online discussions, rather than major networks or international agencies. No suspects have been formally named. No coordinated international search has taken place. The risk of the case slipping into silence grows with each day. Yet, this comparison has done something important for Lily and Jack. It has given the community clarity. People are learning from the McCann case that persistence, public pressure, and keeping a case in the light can be the difference between a story that disappears and one that eventually finds justice. They are seeing the gaps in the system with clearer eyes, recognizing the patterns of official silence, and using that awareness to fuel their demands for answers. Because when two children vanish, the question should never be, will anyone care long enough to find the truth? The question should be, how do we keep the search alive until they are found? In the silence left behind, 3 primary theories have emerged, each attempting to answer the question that haunts everyone who cares about Lily and Jack. Where are they? Theory 1. Malia Brooks Murray staged the disappearance to avoid Child Protection Services. Those close to the family, like Daniel Logan and Darwood O'Grady, believe Malia feared losing custody, particularly with CPS reportedly investigating concerns in the home. They point to the pattern of her sudden withdrawal, her refusal to join search efforts, and her eventual disappearance, with Meadow as signs of a carefully planned escape. Malia returned to the trailer days later, taking the children's birth certificates, school photos, and stuffed animals, items you would need if you planned to relocate children, not if you believed they were missing. Supporters of this theory see the total lack of physical evidence, no clothing, no footprints, no sign of struggle, as a sign of intention, not coincidence. Theory 2. Possible harm, with Malia or others concealing the truth. Belinda Gray, the children's grandmother, has openly stated her belief that someone harmed Lily and Jack. She argues that the thick, dangerous forest terrain around the trailer would have been impossible for a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old to navigate without leaving any trace. No torn clothes, no panic signs, no scent beyond the driveway. These details don't add up to children wandering off. Combined with Malia's emotional detachment, flat affect, and silence, many believe someone knows what happened and is hiding it, whether it is Malia herself or others helping her remain hidden. Theory 3. A mental health crisis, postpartum depression, or a fear-based panic. Some who knew Malia have considered that she may have been in crisis, overwhelmed by past trauma, fear of CPS, or a mental health breakdown. Perhaps in a moment of desperation, she took the children and fled, not with malicious intent, but out of fear. However, as time has passed, this theory has lost traction for many observers. Malia's ongoing silence, her refusal to contact family, CPS, or law enforcement, and her complete disappearance with Meadow do not align with someone seeking help or clarity later on. Instead, they deepen suspicion that whatever happened was not a single moment of panic, but part of something larger and more deliberate. And through it all, there is a tension. The lack of hard evidence, no bodies, no confirmed sightings, no clear forensic trail, stands against a series of troubling behavioral red flags. Silence where there should be pleas for help, withdrawal where there should be participation in searches, and a mother who disappeared with her youngest child when questions grew too loud. These theories don't compete with each other. They reflect the desperation of those still waiting for answers, the cracks in the system that allowed 2 children to vanish, and the urgency for truth before this case fades like so many others. Lily and Jack Sullivan are still missing. And in a world where stories fade and algorithms bury cases like this, your actions can be the difference between silence and justice. If you care about Lily and Jack, please do not just watch. Subscribe right now to this channel, so you can follow every update and every piece of evidence that may help find them. Subscribing isn't just a click. It is a direct act of support for Lily and Jack's justice, a signal that this case matters, and a way to keep their names alive when the system and media move on. Like this video so it reaches more people who need to see it. Share it with friends, in community groups, and on your social media, so this case does not fade into silence. Your voice matters. Drop a comment below, letting us know where you're watching from, and what you believe happened to Lily and Jack. Do you believe someone is hiding the truth? Do you believe Malia fled out of fear? Or do you believe there is something more deliberate behind this disappearance? Every comment, every share, every subscription keeps the pressure on for answers. Because these are not just stories, these are children. And they deserve to come home, or for the truth to be known if they cannot. Please like, share, and subscribe now, and let us know your thoughts below. Let's not let Lily and Jack Sullivan become just another cold case. 2 children vanished, a mother fled, and the silence that followed has been louder, heavier than any answer we've received. This is not just a headline. It is heartbreak, alive and unhealed, for every family member and community member who wakes up each day wondering where Lily and Jack are. Every day that passes without answers is another day. Their toys sit untouched, their shoes remain by the door, their laughter replaced by a silence that never ends. And it is why we cannot give up. You watching this right now are part of this search. Every time you subscribe, like and share, you keep the search alive. You keep their story alive when institutions go silent, when the media looks away, when algorithms move on to the next viral trend. Your voice, your comment, your engagement, they matter. If you believe Lily and Jack deserve justice, if you believe the truth deserves light, stand with us, keep watching, keep sharing, and keep demanding answers. Because the heartbreak of this case is not just in the unknown, it is in the weight of waiting, the questions that are never answered, the days that slip by with no sign of Lily and Jack. And until those answers come, their absence remains an open wound.